The Voice 17104.com.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back here to Rick's Place, here on The Voice 17104. Here with Pastor Chris Thomas.
God bless you. Welcome back, sir.
And the fine folks of our audience. And we are going to talk about alternate reality, which in fact, of course, you know, is not reality at all. First time I heard that term was in the morning show, and that time, Chris Como was interviewing one of Trump's. You remember him, don't you? I don't know how you don't. He never let you forget it. Yeah, good old Donald. One of his special assistants, was on there, and I'm trying to recall her name. She was with Fred Cruz, and then she jumped over to be with Donald Trump. Her husband heads up the Lincoln Project, and he's a hell of a dude. Good guy. I don't know. They say opposites attract. I guess in that case, it's profound. But anyway, she was the first one that mentioned that topic, that heading, alternate reality. And Chris Como looked at her and said, well, what is that? And then she went on to try to explain away something, and they had a disastrous explanation for it because it just simply was just stupid. And then of course the MAGA people and the rest of Trump's staff, Kelly McAtee and all the rest of them, alternate reality is, and they repeated that foolishness. Alternate reality, folks, is a reality that only exists in your mind. Okay? Or what you want something to be. It's not the truth. It's not etched in stone anywhere. And it's just simply foolishness. Alternate reality is a joke. It's designed to have you believe that what you saw with your eyes, what you heard with your ears, simply didn't exist. Think about that. It's a psychological tool. That's what is existing right now in the state of Florida with their deranged governor. And that's exactly why one of the greatest, in my opinion, and you may not agree, but if you've been watching this, brother, you would, why Benjamin Crump was one of the finest civil rights and human rights attorney that existed, at least in our lifetime, is suing Ron DeSantis for those same violations. Because this imbecile is trying to erase our history in this country. The African American story is an American story. Make no mistake about that. And this is what Brother Crump is trying to let good old Ronnie boy understand. Ronnie started passing legislation, and this legislative body in Florida got to be just as simple as he is. Don't say yay. Well, whether you agree or disagree, it exists. Those Americans exist and have every right to. Remember last week when I told you pick up the Bible? If you think they don't exist, the Bible speaks to them. It's like they speak of the harlots. They have existed since mankind existed. Simply because you get a legislative body together and convince them that they're right, or do they convince themselves that they're right? And they pass a law that said they don't exist. They never exist. Foolishness of that. But we have to protect our children. We can't be teaching about critical race theory. Critical race theory was never taught in the schools anyway. So what do you that's a Republican talking point. You know they're fear mongers. They like to scare the Republicans, especially the Democrats are smart in that. But they love scaring the Republicans. And what they use to scare the Republicans is us. That is amazing to me. Two groups of people who have interacted for centuries on one level or another. The Republicans scare them with us. Oh, that's simply amazing to me. What's far more interesting how they're allowed to get away with it. And you all are allowed to believe it. People that you have seen on one level or another, or one way or another, each and every day of your life. I don't care if it was just on television. Oh, they're going to take your jobs. They're going to mess up your neighborhood. And you simply fall for that. Over and over again. You're better than them. How so? You ever ask yourself that? You got to understand, folks, look back. And I'll show you how this whole alternative reality thing works. Go back to when the ruling class was trying to establish themselves. And they knew they couldn't be everywhere at one time. And they had to control these particular people that they have done some terrible things to, who was emerging from the shackles on their necks, on their hands, and on their legs. They now had to tell the truth about us being fellow human beings. So that's where all these think tanks came in. We need to come up with a strategy, an alternative reality to this disparate treatment, cruel and inhuman treatment of these particular race of people, meaning the African American, you and I. Okay. So after they got the report from their think tank, they had to tell those poor whites that since you and I look alike, well, you're better than them. The poor whites are looking at each other. Yeah, all right. And so we're going to give you slightly better jobs, slightly better positions, because we look alike. We don't look like them. Yeah, yeah. Then they develop organizations able to control them, such as the John Birches Society, the Ku Klux Klan, and them guys with the bald heads, the neo-Nazis, and so we want you to watch them and report back to us. We'll know what to do. But just like Abraham Lincoln said, you can fool some of the people some of the time. Most of the people, most of the time. But not all of the people, all of the time. Whites begin to look around, say, you said that we was going to be okay because you and I look alike. You know that the living conditions haven't changed. And you look over the years, and I grew up with some white guys, and I was living better than by 100 yards. And I was poor. So what did make them? And then when they used the term nigger to describe me, but they living worse than me. And I just look at them. I said, dude, who told you that? That you was better. They lied to you. But here's the reason they lied to you. The ruling class was stealing. Not only from us, but from them. Well, they sure couldn't have us talking to each other because we would have figured that out. And the ruling class couldn't have that. Because see, what you understand, the ruling class don't care nothing about poor white folks. They'll whip you into a frenzy, have you attacking the capital of the United States, talking about, I'm with you, brother. It's like Trump told them, go to the Capitol, I'll be there in a minute. Trump didn't go nowhere near there. But they had your stupid self up there. And they already hear all the stories through the January 6th, testimony and that hearing that he wanted to go in the CIA and then the CIA or the Secret Service, that's what it was, wouldn't take him. And and he tried to choke one of the Stephen. We got to take that testimony at face value because see, we weren't there. But see, little did know, I took him right up here. You want to be there? Go on up because see, then you can be identified as leading the charge against the United States. Okay? I took him right to the doorstep. Here you go, here you people, get out. We ain't going with you. You on your own, boss. Knock yourself out. You whipped them into a frenzy. Well, they might have heard him. No, not according to him. He said, they're not here to hurt me. So who was he? Who were they there to hurt? Alternative reality existed in their minds. Them people was up here with a gallows talking about hang the second most powerful man in the world, arguably, Mike Pence. And Donald Trump wanted them to hang him. Your boy. Man stood by you through thick and thin. Your whole 4 years. Defended you like no tomorrow. Even though he knew half of the things you were doing was ridiculous. I that took him right up here. And you know why I would have took him up there? The same thing Rhaenyra Targaryen to Allison Hightower, but she had that knife in her hand in the House of Dragons. Now they see you for who you are. Allison got so upset she cut her wrist, cut Rhaenyra's wrist, pulling away from him, and finally came back to her senses and seeing what she had done. Because not that she was so much resentful of Rhaenyra, she was resentful of herself, the position that she had placed herself in. This is what people do. You get mad at the world for your own inadequacies, for your own decisions that you made, and you want to blame the rest of the world for that. Now, what the Trump people did, the ruling class did. So when those particular called whites begin to wake up, I said, wait a minute. I think we've been lied to. We've been bamboozled, not just our black counterparts. And they began to demand certain answers from the ruling class. The ruling class knew they had a problem. Well, we better appease them, see? And then they had to go get another plank. Because blacks began to realize also that, wait a minute, not that we didn't know that something was seriously wrong back then. But they began to demand certain freedoms, certain conditions, certain, treatment that was against the treatment that they've been receiving for several years. And then they would began to have whites help them achieve their goals, which really scared the ruling class because they thought they had a handle on this thing. So, to maintain power, they had to alter some things, some ideas, way of doing things to maintain their power. See, because folks, you got to understand, it was never about them accepting those whites into the ruling class. That wasn't going to happen. This was a closed shop. You got to understand that racism was the excuse. Greed was the purpose. So if the ruling class was stealing from blacks and they're stealing from whites, and then they start stealing from Chinese Americans and Japanese Americans, and well, they certainly couldn't have you talking to each other. So they threw the racism card in there. They knew you wasn't gonna talk to each other then. You didn't want each other living next door to you. Oh man, this is working. And they kept right on stealing from like they doing today. I don't know why most of us don't understand that. As long as most of us don't understand that, well, they gonna keep right on stealing. They gonna keep right on treating you in your kind of way. They gonna keep on lying to you. It's better than them guys. I remember doing Trump's first campaign, and they got to showing the people that support him out living in shanty shacks down with a rebel flag on the side of the house. The house looked like it only had 3 walls. Guy on TV with bib overalls that looked like they ain't been washed in a year. It looked like he had 2 teeth in his mouth, wearing a MAGA hat. Talking about that's true. You know who? Trump was part of the ruling class. Even though he's dumb as dirt. But you gotta look past Trump. That's the bigger picture. You know what I mean? Trump didn't lay the groundwork for who he is. Fred Trump, his buddy laid it, and he put all those people around Donald before he left this earth. He said, this kid's stupid, but you guys keep him on track. And that's what his niece was talking about. I don't know if any of you heard her, but you should have been listening to her. She's in the family and was very close to what was happening because she's grown up in that atmosphere with the alternative reality. Alternative reality is a measure of control, folks, because it's their reality they wish to project on you and I. I refuse to accept it. I live in the real world. The real world. I see things the way they are and strive to change them. I don't conjure up these things in my mind to accept the way they want it to be. No. Keep your feet planted firmly on the ground. Look at the conditions. I strive to change the conditions if they are not right. If they are not satisfactory to the people. Join the people in the change. Don't accept things that are not right. Don't accept things that are not equitable. Don't accept things that are not true. Always put people first. And don't sit back and fool yourself into believing that it's gonna be okay. Ooh. No, it ain't gonna be okay unless you make it okay. Things work themselves out. Yeah, when you work them out. Don't ever accept that alternate reality is reality, then you become a fool. Ooh. Reality is reality. Not anybody's alternate anything. All right? Thanks for stopping by today. Make sure you sign the petitions of the candidates that's out there running for office. Help them out, get them on the ballot, and then let the people decide who should sit in those chairs and who should not sit in those chairs. All right, take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you next week. I got a good sister here.